Hey, what's up friends? Grant Baldwin here. Welcome back to the Speaker Lab channel, where today we're going to be doing another speech breakdown from a popular TED Talk from a guy named Apollo Robbins. Now, he's going to tell you right out of the gate he is a professional pickpocket. So we're assuming he's going to do this. He's going to demonstrate this. Everybody's in on it, and yet he still pulls it off in an incredible way. So the precision that he does with this is amazing. We talk a lot about interaction with the audience, how he does that if you're going to bring an audience member on stage, what to look for, what to consider. He does a lot of things really well. We also talk about props. This presentation is extremely good. So I think you're going to learn a lot from this. Let's get right into it. Enjoy this speech breakdown with Apollo Robbins.
Do you think it's possible to control someone's attention? Even more than
Good opening question there. So we've talked about this before, that whenever you come out, those first few moments that you are on stage, you're going to have the most attention that you're ever going to get from the audience. They have no idea where you're going to go with this talk. Is this going to be something that is funny or interesting or sad or entertaining? They have no idea what's going to happen, but they're immediately locked in these first few moments. So you don't want to waste a lot of time going in and, hey everyone, how's everybody doing? I can't hear you. Oh, it's so good to be in Edinburgh today, and I'm so excited to be here, and like yada. Like, don't do all that stuff. You come out there and you go right into your talk. So coming out with an opening line like that immediately piques the audience's attention and interest. Even for us right now, we're going like, I don't know, this is going to be really fascinating. This is going to be really interesting. I wonder where this talk is going to go. He's already hooked us in for where the rest of the talk is going to go.
Even more than that, what about predicting human behavior? I think those are interesting ideas if you could. I mean, for me, that'd be the perfect superpower. Actually, kind of an evil way of approaching it. But for myself, in the past, I've spent the last 20 years studying human behavior from a rather unorthodox way.
Now let's go back for a second.
Picking pockets.
Okay, so he's got something in his hand there. I don't know what that is exactly, but let's talk about props for a second. So whenever you come out and you've got, let's say you've got a prop. I'm looking for something, just a water bottle, right? A water bottle, okay, not a good example. Something that creates some mystery. Okay, let's go with this, all right? Here's some Post-it notes, okay? So if I walk out with Post-it notes and I'm just kind of holding these Post-it notes, as an audience member, what are you immediately thinking? What are the Post-it notes for? What's he gonna do with the Post-it notes? How do the Post-it notes fit into it? Whatever the thing is. So we don't know what that thing is at the moment, but we're kind of wondering like, what is he doing with that? How's that fit into the talk? Where is he gonna go with this? So again, it creates intrigue and it creates interest. So there's a couple different ways to use prop. One is what he's doing right now, where he's just kind of holding it. He's not addressing it. He's not saying anything about it, but just he has it there with him that creates some intrigue. Another way to do it is to have, especially if you have like a bigger item, is that you have it on a table and maybe it's hidden, maybe it's under something, or maybe it is not hidden and it's just there on the table. Let's say he had a table behind him and it had a basketball on it, right? Like, we're all wondering like, why is that basketball there? What is that for? How does that fit in? And so again, it keeps people intrigued without you having to say like, look at that, everybody see the basketball over there? Okay, I'm gonna do something with that later, so hang tight for that, stay tuned. You don't have to do that because the audience is immediately intrigued already. So as soon as I saw whatever is in his hand there, I'm immediately wondering like, what's that for? What is it? What's he gonna do with it?
An evil way of approaching it. But for myself, in the past, I've spent the last 20 years studying human behavior from a rather unorthodox way. Picking pockets. When we think of misdirection, we think of something as looking off to the side, when actually it's often the things that are right in front of us that are hardest things to see, the things that you look at every day that you're blinded to. For example, how many of you still have your cell phones on you right now? Great. Double check, make sure you still have them on.
Okay, so whenever you're gonna do an audience interaction like that, and you're asking the audience a question, it's good to give them some type of either verbal or visual cue of what you want them to do. So he said, how many of you have your phone on you right now? And he didn't do anything or give any direction there. So it's a simple thing to just, even if you just say, either by show of hands, if you say verbally, by show of hands, how many of you have your phone on you right now? Then you don't have to necessarily visualize it, but if you don't say that first part on the verbal part, if you just say, how many of you have your phone on you right now? Like, that's all you have to do, and it immediately cues the audience. Or they could respond with a head nod, or typically like a hand raise is a simple thing to do, and that's the thing that most people are going to do. He didn't give any direction, and that's what people responded with. But something to be aware of is giving some type of verbal or visual cue of what it is that you want the audience to do when you're asking for them to participate with you.
I was doing some shopping beforehand.
It's a good
Now,
line.
you've looked at him probably a few times today, but I'm going to ask you a question about him. Without looking at your cell phone directly yet, Can you remember the icon in the bottom right corner? Bring them out, check, and see how accurate you were.
That's a good question.
How'd you do? Show of hands, did we get it?
Show of hands.
Now that you're done looking at those, close them down, because every phone has something in common. No matter how you organize the icons, you still have a clock on the front. So without looking at your phone, what time was it? You just looked at your clock, right? It's an interesting idea. Now I'll ask you to take that a step further with a game of trust. Close your eyes. I realize I'm asking you to do that while you just heard there's a pickpocket in the room, but close your eyes. Now.
That's a good line there, because that was one of the things that we've talked about before is that relates to humor is anytime that you can insert yourself into the mind of the listener or inside the mind of the audience member, it creates a good moment there. So when he said that, close your eyes, I was immediately thinking, but you're a pickpocket, what are you getting ready to do? And so him saying that, again, like validates the humor or the line that I thought of in my own head. So that was a good job by him.
You've been watching me for about 30 seconds. With your eyes closed, what am I wearing? Make your best guess. What color is my shirt? What color is my tie? Now open your eyes. By show of hands, were you right? It's interesting, isn't it? Some of us are a little bit more perceptive than others.
Okay, so let's see here. We're 2 minutes in already, and he's done several little just interactions with the audience to keep them engaged, right? Asking them to, how many of you have your phone with you? How many of you have looked at your phone? Pull out your phone and check and see what the lower right icon is. Do you remember it? Did you get it right? Yes or no? Okay, close your eyes. How many of you remember what I'm wearing? Did you get it right? Just those simple little interactions there go from being just like a talking head speaker that I'm just giving a lecture to this is more of an interaction. This is more of an experience. So those little things that he's doing there is doing a good job to keep the audience engaged.
It seems that way, but I have a different theory about that model of attention. They have fancy models of attention, Posner's trendy model of attention. For me, I like to think of it very simple, like a surveillance system. It's kind of like you have all these fancy sensories, and inside your brain is a little security guard. For me, I like to call him Frank. So Frank is sitting at a desk. He's got all sorts of cool information in front of him, high-tech equipment. He's got cameras. He's got a little phone that he can pick up, listen to the ears, all these senses, all these perceptions. But attention is what steers your perceptions, is what controls your reality. It's the gateway to the mind. If you don't attend to something, you can't be aware of it. But ironically, you can attend to something without being aware of it. That's why there's the cocktail effect. When you're in a party, you're having conversations with someone, and yet
you can tend to something without being aware of that. So anytime you're saying like a line of significance, and it's kind of a key line that you want to deliver, you want to give the audience an opportunity to like let that sink in, right? So if you say a line too quickly and you just keep moving on, the audience is already moving on with you without having processed what you just said. So sometimes whenever you're delivering a key line, you can do one of two things. You can just slow down to deliver the line. You can pause after you deliver the line to let it sink in, or you can also repeat the line, or you can do a combination of all of those things there. So just make sure if you're delivering like a key line that really requires some thought process to get to the point of like, oh yeah, that is accurate, that is true now that I think about it, then make sure that you give the audience an opportunity to actually process that.
You can recognize your name and you didn't even realize you were listening to that. Now, for my job, I have to play with techniques to exploit this, to play with your attention as a limited resource. So if I could control how you spend your attention, if I could maybe steal your attention through a distraction. Now, instead of doing it like misdirection and throwing off to the side, instead what I choose to focus on is Frank. To be able to play with the Frank inside your head, your little security guard, and get you, instead of focusing on your external senses, just to go internal for a second. So if I ask you to access a memory, like, what is that? What just happened? Do you have a wallet? Do you have an American Express in your wallet? And when I do that, your Frank turns around. He accesses the file. He has to rewind the tape. And what's interesting is he can't rewind the tape at the same time that he's trying to process new data. Now, I mean, this sounds like a good theory, but I could talk for a long time and tell you lots of things, and they may be true, a portion of them. But I think it's better if I try to show that to you here live. So if I come down, I'm going to do a little bit of shopping. Just hold still where you are.
All right, so a couple things. One, whenever you're coming off of stage, I'm a big fan of coming off the stage and interacting with the audience. If you're going to do this, you want to check ahead of time with the audio or visual team to make sure that if you come off stage, that if there is a camera, that they're still going to be able to get a shot of you. Also want to make sure that if you come off stage that there's not going to be some like dramatic microphone feedback if you're like walking in front of a speaker and then all of a sudden it's blaring and it ruins the experience for everyone. So be aware of those things if you're coming off stage. Now, because he's a professional pickpocket and he has said that he is, it feels like only natural that he demonstrates this, right? That he does something with it. It would be the same way if someone got up on stage and said at the beginning that they are one of the world's greatest violinists, but then they never played the violin. It'd feel like a bit of a letdown, right? So if you're going to make something a big part of your speech or presentation in terms of your skill set or an ability or a talent that you have, then you better be ready to actually demonstrate it, because that's something that the audience would definitely be looking forward to.
Hello, how are you? It's lovely to see you. You did a wonderful job on stage. You have a lovely watch that doesn't come off very well. Do you have your ring as well? Good, just taking inventory. You're like a buffet. It's hard to tell where to start. There's so many great things. Hi, how are you? Good to see you. Hi, sir, could you stand up for me, please? Just right where you are. Oh, you're married. You follow the directions well. That's nice to meet you, sir. You don't have a whole lot inside your pockets. Anything down by the pocket over here? Hopefully so. Have a seat. There you go. You're doing well. Hi, sir. How are you? Good to see you, sir. You have a ring, a watch. Do you have a wallet on you? I don't. Well, we'll find one for you. Come on up this way, Joe. Give Joe a round of applause. Come on up, Joe. Let's play a game. Pardon me?
Okay, so if you're going to get an audience member and you're going to get them to come up on stage, this is something that can be really hit and miss, right? Now, obviously, the longer you do this, the more times you've done this with an audience, the more comfortable you're going to feel with the person that you select. So depending on, we have no idea where he's going to go with this. He's probably looking for someone that's semi like vulnerable, that he might feel like, okay, this is a good target that I could pickpocket. I used to do an interaction where I would call someone up on stage, but I'd have to like really be aware of who the different audience members were. Someone that's going to participate with me that I could kind of riff with, but at the same time, someone that's not going to be super loud or boisterous or anything like that, where it's going to be almost distracting to the illustration that I'm trying to make. So just want to be aware of that. If you're going to bring someone on stage, you're taking a risk there because you're sharing some of the power with that person there, and that can work really well or it can backfire against you. So just be cautious of that.
Don't think that you need this clicker anymore. You can have that. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Come on up to the stage, Joe. Let's play a little game. Now, do you have anything in your front pockets? Money. All right, let's try that. Can you stand right over this way for me? Turn around and let's see. If I give you something that belongs to me, this is just something, a half poker chip. Hold out your hand for me. Watch it kind of close. Now, this is a task for you to focus on. Now, you have your money in your front pocket here? Yep. Good. I'm not going to actually put my hand in your pocket. I'm not ready for that kind of commitment. One time a guy had a hole in his pocket, and that was rather traumatizing for me.
Wait, he changed clothes, didn't he? Or changed shirts? He had like a vest and tie on, and he doesn't have that now.
I was looking for his wallet, and he gave me his phone number. It's a big miscommunication. So let's do this simply. Squeeze your hand. Squeeze it tight. Do you feel...
What happened there?
The poker chip in your hand. I do. Would you be surprised if I could take it out of your hand? Say yes? Very. Good. Open your hand. Thank you very much. I'll cheat if you give me a chance. Make it harder for me. Just use your hand. Grab my wrist, but squeeze. Squeeze firm. Did you see it go? No. No, it's not here. Open your hand. See, while we're focused on the hand, it's sitting on your shoulder right now. Go ahead and take it off. Now, let's try that again. Hold your hand out flat, open it up all the way. Put your hand up a little bit higher, but watch it close there, Joe. See, if I did it slowly, it'd be back on your shoulder. Joe, we're going to keep doing this till you catch it. You're going to get it eventually. I have faith in you. Squeeze firm. Squeeze. You're human. You're not slow. It's back on your shoulder. You were focused on your hand. That's why you were distracted. While you were watching this, I couldn't quite get your watch off. It was difficult. Yet you had something inside your front pocket. Do you remember what it was? Check your pocket, see if it's still there. Is it still there? Oh, that's where it was. Go ahead and put it away. We're just shopping. This trick's more about the timing, really. I'm going to try to push it inside your hand. Put your other hand on top for me, would you? It's amazingly obvious now, isn't it? It looks a lot like the watch I was wearing, doesn't it?
Very good.
Oh, thanks.
Very, very good. That right there, that whole bit all the lines, all the interactions, all the showing of the watch. That takes an insane amount of practice. That was extremely, extremely good. He makes it look so casual. He makes it look so nonchalant, like, oh, I'm just doing this, da-da-da. But that is something that has taken hours and hours and hours and hours of practice, of interacting with audience members, where it's gone well, times where it's not gone well. And so again, this comes back to all the way from whenever he was looking at different audience members to pick and looking for maybe the type of watch that they had, something that he could easily do on stage. Because this is so good, because everybody knows, this guy knows he's being brought up on stage, and the guy who's speaking right now is going to pickpocket him somehow. He doesn't know how, everybody's in on it, and yet he still pulls it off in front of us. That was extremely well done. That was very cool.
But it's only a start. Let's try it again a little bit differently. Hold your hands together, put your other hand on top. Now, if you're watching this little token, this obviously has become a little target. It's like a red herring. If we watch this kind of close, it looks like it goes away. It's not back on your shoulder. It falls out of the air, lands right back in the hand. Did you see it go? It's funny. You got a little guy, he's union. He works up there all day. If I did it slowly, if it goes straight away, it lands down by your pocket. I believe, is it in this pocket, sir? No, don't reach in your pocket. That's a different show. Sorry, that's rather strange. They have shots for that. And can I show them what that is? That's rather bizarre. Is this yours, sir? I have no idea how that works. We'll just send that over there. That's great. I need help with this one. Step over this way for me. Now, don't run away. You had something down by your pants pocket. I was checking mine. I couldn't find everything. But I noticed you had something here. Feel the outside of your pocket for a moment. Down here, I noticed this. Is this something of yours, sir? Is this? I had no idea. That's a shrimp.
Yeah, saving it for later.
You've entertained all these people in a wonderful way, better than you know. So we'd love to give you this lovely watch as a gift. Hopefully it matches his taste. But also we have a couple of other things, a little bit of cash. And then we have a few other things. These all belong to you, along with a big round of applause from all your friends.
Very good.
Joe, thank you very much.
That was great.
So, same question I asked you before, but this time you don't have to close your eyes. What am I wearing?
So good. So good.
Attention is a powerful thing. Like I said, it shapes your reality. So, I guess I'd like to pose that question to you. If you could control somebody's attention, what would you do with it? Thank you.
Good. Very good. Very good. Good final line there, too. So instead of just like, hey, that was pretty cool. Did you like my tricks? And then he walks off stage. Attention is a powerful thing. If you can control it, what would you do? You know, some type of like key line that takes everything that he's covered and summarizes it into this one final powerful statement. Deliver that, let that land. Excellent, excellent job. That was really good. All right, there you go. Hope you enjoyed that speech breakdown with Apollo Robbins. Hey, if you did like, don't forget to like it. Click the like button below. Don't forget to comment below. Let us know what you learned from this talk that you're going to apply to your next speech or presentation. Also, let us know if there's another speech or presentation or TED Talk that you would like for us to break down in the future. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and we will catch you next time, my friend. You're awesome.